Hi, my name is Rob. If you've been watching a couple of videos, welcome back. If this is your first one watching, hello. My videos on this channel have been almost exclusively about education and schools in particular. And over the years, I've gone from teacher to principal to now superintendent of a pretty unique school system. During that whole time, I've always been thinking about what makes schools great, what separates the great schools from the not so great schools. And this is going to sound kind of cheeky, but you really know a good school when you see it, and you really know a bad school right away when you see it. The thing I want to talk about today is if you are in one of those schools that from the outside people think of as quote unquote bad, I think sometimes it's easy to miss that. Because when people are looking at that, they look at kind of the general feel of the building, the results that you're getting, how people feel about it when they're not there. And those things look different than if you're in there day to day. Because I think every school, even the bad ones, are doing good work a lot of the time. I think the difference between a good school and a bad school, while results are a huge part of it, I think another very important part of it is, do the people in the school know why they are there? And do they spend every moment moving that forward? The reason they exist, do they spend every moment making sure that they're doing that thing? Whether that is, we are here as a school for these kids in this area and we want to make sure they have a great education. Whether that is, we are the premier college prep high school in our area, so we need to make sure that everything we do focuses on that. I think those places know exactly what they do and they spend their efforts multiplying that. And I think the places that are struggling maybe don't have that super hyper focus on what it is they do and why they do it. My role for the last year has been about figuring out exactly what that piece is and making sure that we do just those things that guide that forward, which means a lot of the time we say no to stuff. And we say no to stuff that I think other people would say yes to, and that's okay. And I can hear already, well, maybe in a private school they can do that, but maybe in a public school they can't. And I don't know if that's the case. I think even in a public school, there are things you'll say no to. You'll say, that's really not our thing. Would we love to do that? Sure, but we wouldn't be able to do it well, so maybe we shouldn't do it right now. I think actually that's part of the reason why people seem to be so unhappy with education lately, is the fact that education is trying to do everything for everyone, and they're doing it with fewer resources and less funding, and a world that honestly is just different than it was 4 or 5 years ago. And so they're figuring out what that looks like and how to live in that and what that means for them going forward. And will we ever go back to where we were? Probably not. So now the question is, what is your main goal for existing? And I can't give you that. I can't tell you what that is. I can say generically, we will say we are here to do right by kids. And that is true. We are all here to do right by kids. But what does that mean? Does that mean you're preparing them for the workforce? Does that mean you're preparing them for college? Does that mean you're preparing them for high school? Whatever it is you're doing, do right by kids. Now, the two things I'll leave you with, the two practical questions you can actually ask to make sure you're doing that is, one, if this was the only class I had with this kid, would I be happy of how this went? If this is the only class I get to teach these kids, would I be content about this one and only one? And number two, is what we're doing right now move us towards the goal? And you need to know what that is. And maybe you are a teacher who teaches an AP class and you go, okay, we need to make sure they are ready for the AP test. Maybe you are a teacher that teaches the beginning of a course series and you say, I need to make sure that the kids are ready for this second class. Maybe it's a class about something really practical, like how to do their taxes or balance a checkbook. Do people still have checkbooks? Anyway, maybe it's a personal finance class. Maybe it's wood shop. Whatever you're doing, make sure that it moves that goal forward. And I think a lot of people are already doing these things. I think we have great teachers in great schools all across the country. We have something like 93,000 public schools, and we have nearly as many private or parochial schools. And I think all of them have a place, and all of them have value, and all of them are doing something really, really important. I just want to make sure that whatever they're doing is 1% better every day. That's my whole goal. I want to make sure that every kid has a great opportunity, that every school is reaching their potential. Because if you're going to do anything, you got to do it well. If this was something that was interesting or helpful to you, there are a couple other videos up right now. You can always like or subscribe or comment. If you think I'm totally wrong, I think there's a dislike button down there somewhere. You're more than welcome to click that. And if you want to see more stuff like this, well, I think that's what I'll probably be doing. See you next time.